Hello everybody, thank you for joining me today on Krista So Crafty. I am going to be putting some adhesive on a bin of mine. It holds all of my adhesives. So I'm going to put some vinyl on there just to label it. My hair this morning. Anyways, that's what I'm going to do. So I thought I'd bring you along with me. Let's get going. So this is a project that I've been wanting to do for a while, and it takes a whole, 2.5 seconds to do, but I just hadn't got around to it. So as you can see, this whole container is full of different types of adhesives and tapes and little foam pads and stuff for card making and crafts. And I just thought I would put a label on the bin itself, just that says adhesives. So that's what I'm going to do. And of course we need to clean it first. So I'm using the rubbing alcohol to clean it. Well, I guess I should do this twice. I'll put the on both ends just in case it gets flipped around. There. Now at this step you can use whatever font you like. If you want to use a script or a bold or a block, whatever font you want. I have one and it's called, what is it called? I'll post it here, the name of it. But I like it. It's a nice scroll. And this font cuts easy on my Cricut and it sticks nice and it looks nice. So this is the one I'm going to use. Now I'm going to take my tape measure and I'm going to measure that little space. It's about 3 inches, so that's as wide as I'm going to go with the font. So I'm just going to go up to the top and I'm going to change the width of the word to 3 inches, and now it's ready to cut. Click on Make It and we're going to move on to the next step. At this point, I do not need to mirror it because we're not using HTV, so do not mirror it. But I am going to cut out 2 of these, so I went to the top left to the project copies and I changed that to 2, and so it'll cut 2 of them. Click on vinyl and we're moving on to the next step, which is to remove the cover from the mat, and we're going to put our vinyl on there. As you can see, I'm just using a scrap piece of vinyl, so I'm just making sure that I have it in the right spot so it'll cut it correctly. I do also use my brayer to make sure that the vinyl is stuck down properly to the mat, and that way we get the best cut possible. Now because I'm using a scrap vinyl, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my Cricut to the cut setting here, and I'm going to click on Edit in the bottom left, and I'm going to move the other word down underneath the first word just because of the shape of my scrap vinyl. So it's just going to allow me to utilize the vinyl that I have rather than cutting a new piece. As I said before, the Cricut really does a nice job cutting out this font, this writing, and before you know it, it's all done. And now I can take the vinyl off the mat and we can start weeding it. Now I always turn my mat over and take the vinyl off the mat. It makes it so it doesn't curve. You don't want that. Cut the 2 words apart. It makes it easier to weed if you're doing them separately. And then I'm just going to weed this out. And as you can see, it weeds absolutely beautiful. I'm also going to be using my weeding tool to take out the little insides of the letters. You want to be careful at this point because it is fragile there, especially with this, any font, it's going to be fragile, but just go slow and take your time and nice and easy and just take out all the little insides, and before you know it, you have this all weeded and it's ready to be put onto your project. I really love how this font turned out, and I think it is easy to read, which is sometimes a factor if you're going to use it or not, but I do like this font. As you can see, I've done the same process for the second one, and now before you know it, it's all done. So now we can start putting it onto the container. So I have a little piece of transfer tape that I was using for something else, so I'm just going to use that again. I use my transfer tape probably 3, 4, 5 times, I guess, depending on what it is I'm putting it on and whatnot. This is definitely the last project for this little piece, but yeah, no sense throwing it out after every time. I mean, stuff's not cheap, so let's use it and, use it more than once. So again, I'm just going to use this transfer tape and I'm going to scrape on both sides, make sure that the vinyl is stuck to the transfer tape. And then we can go ahead and start applying it onto the container itself. So on the end of each side of this container, there's a little flat spot. So that's where I'm putting the vinyl. Just because I figure if I stack it on a shelf or something like that, then the word will be out and it's easy to see what that word is. So I'm using my scraping tool and I'm really making sure it's down. Now, because this transfer tape has been used multiple times, it is giving me a little bit of trouble, but not very much. So just take your time, go easy. And the best advice I can give you is take your transfer tape and pull it flat up against your project, away from the vinyl. And that usually works pretty good to pull off the vinyl or pull off the transfer tape away from the vinyl. And then I always take my finger and I just rub it over just to make sure that everything is all down and it looks good. So I'm going to flip this around and I'm going to apply the vinyl onto the other side. When you're using your scraping tool, whether it be on the vinyl like it is right now through the transfer tape or onto the container, you do want to be careful that you don't press too hard, that you actually rip the vinyl, rip the transfer tape, which then in turn could rip the vinyl. So just be careful with that. But your scraping tool is definitely your best friend with these type of projects. So again, just put your transfer tape on your vinyl, put your vinyl onto your project, use your scraping tool, scrape it down, and easy as that, you've got vinyl on top of your project. And this can be done on any type of container, any type of project. So just have fun. Do you remember my Tux? He's grown a little bit. If you've seen my butter tart video, he was just a baby, but he's kind of grown. He's grown a little bit since then. Anyways, I just thought I'd come and show you the bin that we made. I just put adhesives on here, and I did put it on both sides just so that, no matter which way I put it in the cupboard, I'll be able to see it. Quick and easy little project for you today. Something simple, but very useful. You don't have to guess what's in there, or if someone else is looking for your adhesives, they know where to find it. Thank you for joining me today on Krista So Crafty. I appreciate you being here. I hope you enjoyed this quick little tutorial on how to put vinyl onto a plastic tote. So thank you again and happy crafting.